Hi, good morning. I am Dr. Panduranga R, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Economics, Vijayanagara Sri Krishnadevara University, Bellary. Today, I would like to have a class on poverty in India. As we know that since independence, so India has been facing many socio-economic and political problems. Even poverty is one of the greatest problem of India. So poverty refers to a situation when the people are deprived of basic necessities of life. Even it is often characterized by lack of food, shelter, and clothes. In other words, poverty refers a state of provision of lack of essential needs for the life. India is one of the poor country in the world. Many Indian people do not get even 2 square meals in a day. They do not have good houses to live. Their children do not get a proper schooling. Poor people are deprived and depressed classes in the nation. Even uh, they do not get nutrition food. Their conditions have not sufficiently improved even long after 70 years of independence. So, who is called as poor? Who might be referred as poor? So, landless, marginal farmers cultivating low value products mostly for the family subsistence, self employed artisans, service rendering people catering to low income customers, markets. When women headed the house and groups with large families but limited assets and earning opportunities. People with limited skills, education, engaging in seasonal casual work, social excluded, depressed groups like SC, ST, OBC. So let us see how poverty exists in rural India. It is said that rural India is heart of the nation. In reality, the life of the people who are living in the rural area is very worst. In spite of all the efforts and the condition of the poor villagers is not satisfactory. The report on socio-economic and caste census, which was published in 2011, revealed following facts of rural poverty. So, SCST of all the rural households, around 18.46% belongs to scheduled castes and around 10.97 belong to scheduled tribes. And major sources of income: manual, casual labor jobs and cultivation are the major sources of income for rural mass. Nearly 51% of all the households are economically engaged in manual casual labor, and around 30% of them are engaged in cultivation. Deprived: around 48.5% of rural households are deprived according to this 2011 census. Assets: only 11.4% of the families own a refrigerator, while there is a vehicle including two-wheelers and boat. In around 29.96 of the rural house, income tax: only 4.58 of the rural households pay income tax. Land ownership: around 56% of the village households do not own land. Size of the rural houses: the houses of around 54% of rural families consists of either one or two rooms only. Out of them, around 13.13% lives in one room house. So let us understand the poverty in urban India. So far we have seen how poverty exists in rural India. We will understand how poverty exists in the urban India. Just like most of the growing and developing nations in the world, there has been continuous increase in urban population. So let us understand features of urban poverty in India. Poor people migrate from rural areas to cities and towns in search of employment and financial activities. The income of more than 8 crore urban people is estimated to fall below poverty line. In addition to this, there are around 4.5 crore urban people whose income level is on borderline of poverty. They are called as middle income people. A income of urban poor is highly unstable. A large number of them are either casual workers or self-employed. Banks and financial institutions are reluctant to provide them loan because of unstable income. Even the people who are residing in the urban area, so they do not get sufficient loan by banks because banks don't trust or they don't have confidence to provide loan for paying back. Five states that consists around 40% of all the urban poor people of India are Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Odisha. These states are called as poorest of the poor states in the nation. So they are also referred as Bimaru state. Bimaru means in Hindi sick. I mean these states are very poorest state in the nation. Around 35% of the total population of four metro cities like Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai and Mumbai consists of slum population. A large portion of people living in slums are illiterate. The initiatives taken to deal with the problem of urban poverty has not yielded the desired result. So far, the government had launched so many programs in order to eradicate poverty in urban area, but it has not resulted so much of fruitful for the eradication of poverty. So now let us understand what are the types of poverty. As I told you, the poverty is undefined concept, but however, so it can be understood in many ways. Likewise, it can be categorized into two types of poverty. So there are basically two types of poverty. They are absolute poverty and relative poverty. So let us understand what is absolute poverty. Absolute poverty is defined as a condition where a person does not have minimum amount of income needed to meet the minimum requirements for one or more basic living needs over an extended period of time. This includes like food. So as per the planning commission, of course now we don't have planning commission, it has been renamed as Niti Ayoga. So according to this Ayoga, in rural every individual should have 2400 calories of food per day, and in urban 2100 calories per day in the urban area, and they should have safe drinking water, having to use surface water, sanitization facilities, health, shelter and education. Then relative poverty. In relative form, poverty is seen as achieving less by an individual in a society as compared to another individual. I mean, there is comparison between one person to another person regarding his income. Hence, poverty is seen as comparative deprivation in another sense inequality. So poverty, relative poverty is also called as inequality of income. So far the government had taken so many steps to estimate the poverty in India. Even so many committees had been set up to measure the quantum of poverty in India. So to measure exact number of poor people and per capita expenditure, various methods had been adopted by Government of India. The official measures of Indian government before 2005 was based on food security, and it was defined from per capita expenditure for a person to consume enough calories to be able to pay for associated essential to survive. Since 2005, Indian government adopted the Tendulkar methodology, which moved away from calories anchored to basket of goods and used rural, urban and regional minimum expenditure per capita necessary to survival. The Planning Commission, now it is Niti Ayoga, has been estimating the number of people below the poverty line, it is called as BPL, at both state and national level based on consumer expenditure information collected as a part of National Sample Survey Organization since the 6th 5-year plan. So as I told you, many committees had been formulated by Government of India to estimate the poverty. So I had mentioned here some of the major committees. So Tendulkar and Rath committee was formulated in the year of 1971, Alga committee in the year of 1977, Lakdawal committee in the year of 1989, Tendulkar committee in the year of 2005, Saxena committee in the year of 2008. It was set up to estimate the rural BPL. Hasima committee in the year of 2010, it was set up to estimate the urban BPL, and C. Rangarajan committee, it was set up in the year of 2012. So till today we have the report of C. Rangarajan committee. It was set up in 2012 and it submitted its report in the year of 2013. So among all the committee, we, the teacher of economics and students of economics, we sincerely acknowledge the work of Tendulkar committee and C. Rangarajan committee. Of course, we have to acknowledge different committees, but majorly we are studying Tendulkar and C. Rangarajan committee. As I told you, the Tendulkar committee was set up in 2005. It was chaired by Suresh Tendulkar, which was constituted by Planning Commission to address the following three shortcomings of the previous methods regarding the poverty estimation. Three shortcomings of the previous poverty estimations are: the consumption pattern were linked to the 1973-74 poverty line baskets of goods and services, where there were significant changes in the consumption of pattern of the poor since that time, which were not reflected in poverty estimates. There were issues with the adjustment of prices for inflation, both spatially and temporarily. Earlier poverty lines assumed that health education would be provided by the state and formulated poverty lines accordingly. The Suresh Tendulkar committee had recommended four major changes to the government of India. The first, a shift away from the calories consumption based poverty estimation, and second, uniform poverty line basket across rural and urban India, a change in the price adjustment procedure to correct spatial and temporal issues with the price adjustment, incorporate of private expenditure on health education while estimating the poverty. So these are the four recommendations recommended by Suresh Tendulkar committee to the government of India. So let us understand the different perspective of poverty line estimation in India by Suresh Tendulkar committee and C Rangarajan committee. So the Tendulkar committee was set up by Planning Commission, and even C Rangarajan committee was set up by Planning Commission. So Tendulkar committee was set up in 2005, but C Rangarajan committee in 2012. Tendulkar committee submitted a report 2009, and C Rangarajan committee submitted its report 2014. Sorry, earlier I told you the C Rangarajan committee submitted its report in 2013. So kindly correct it. It submitted in 2014. So the Tendulkar committee estimated the urban poverty line per day per person is 33 rupees, and C Rangarajan committee estimated 47 rupees. So urban poverty line per month per person, Tendulkar committee is fixed 1000 and C Rangarajan committee fixed 1407. Urban poverty line per month family of 5 members, Tendulkar committee fixed 5000, C Rangarajan committee fixed 7035 rupees. So rural poverty line per day per person, C Rangarajan committee fixed 27 rupees, and Tendulkar committee fixed 27 rupees and C Rangarajan committee fixed for 32. And a rural poverty line per month per person, Tendulkar committee had fixed 816 rupees, C Rangarajan committee fixed for 927 rupees. BPL in crore, according to Tendulkar committee 27 crores, and according to C Rangarajan committee 37 crores. So this is the difference between the C Rangarajan committee and Tendulkar committee estimation of the food. So C Rangarajan committee was set up by, as I told you, both are set up by Planning Commission. So Planning Commission has been renamed as Niti Ayoga. Niti means National Institution for Transforming India. So now we will understand the methods of measuring poverty in India. So in India there are two methods for measuring poverty, namely uniform recall period and mixed recall period. So there are two methods of measuring poverty in India: uniform recall period, it is also called as URP, and mixed recall period, MRP. The poverty line in India is income based. The poverty line was originally fixed in terms of income food requirements in 1978. It was stipulated that the calorie standard for typical individual rural area is 2400 calories for rural and 2100 calories in urban areas. Then the cost of the grains 650 grams that fulfill this normative standard was calculated. This cost was the poverty line in 1978. It was rupees 61.8 per person per month for rural areas and rupees 71.30 for urban areas. Since the Planning Commission, now it is Niti Ayoga, was calculating the poverty line every year adjusting for inflation. The poverty line in monetary terms per capita per month during 2005-6 has been estimated rupees 368 in rural area and rupees 560 in urban area, as compared to rupee 328 in rural area and 454 in urban area in the year of 2000 and 2001. The methodology for estimating BPL card holders, I mean below poverty line, the methodology of estimating poverty and the identification of BPL households have been a matter of debate. Two committees under the chairmanship of Professor Suresh D. Tendulkar and Dr. N.C. Saxena have submitted their reports on methodology for estimating poverty and methodology for conducting BPL census in rural areas respectively. Further, an expert group under the chairmanship of Professor S.R. Hasima has been set up to recommend methodology for identification of BPL families in urban areas. Now let us understand what are the causes of poverty in India. The growing population inflects that the problem of poor techniques used in agriculture. Further, there is unequal distribution of income. As a result, the poor people are often exploited by wealthy community. There are many reasons to poverty in India. So I just highlight major reasons for poverty in India. The first major reason for poverty in India is poor agriculture. India in India, around 56% of population depending on the agriculture, but the output of agriculture is very meager. Even it is around 17% to our gross domestic product. We though 56% of population depending on the agriculture, we face a shortage of food. We have to import from other nation. So there should be a scientific cultivation and there should be advanced technology must be introduced in the agriculture sector. And the second one is growing population. As we know that India is the second largest country in the world in terms of population. Even for every decade it becomes doubled. So this is also one of the reason. And the third one is gap between rich and poor. It is also called as haves and have-nots. The widening gap between rich and poor also matters of poverty. In fact, our country's economy is in few hands. So around 80% of population are completely poor. So the fourth one is corruption and black money. So there are corruptions in every walk of life. There is insufficient in offices. People have become selfish. They neglect the national interest, and black money causes the problem of rising prices. Some people have all the privileges but many others are suffering. So black money affects a lot for our economy. So these are the four major problems for the these are the four major causes for the poverty. And we will understand what is the effect of poverty. Even it affects a lot on literacy. So because of poverty we have illiteracy, and because of poverty there are children who are working as child labor, and even because of poverty we have insufficient food, and because of poverty living condition and housing condition is not well in the nation. Because of poverty we have unemployment, and because of poverty we have no hygiene and sanitizations. Because of poverty we have feminization of because of poverty our women are not empowered so much. Because of poverty we have social tensions, I mean we don't have social security because of poverty. These are the major problems of the poverty. So thank you so much for watching this video.